Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of my Out of the Park Baseball 21 series with the Colorado Rockies here, and we are in the offseason now, the first offseason video here going into the 2023-2024 offseason, and let's basically just get right into it. So as you can see here, the first main thing right here is that the active roster was actually expanded again. Of course, the game kind of, with the natural progression that it has the option to, change some of the rules, things like that. And the active roster size has been increased to 27 guys. I don't know exactly what we're going to do with this, but we'll have to see. I'm assume I'll just carry another pitcher probably. With the additional roster spot. And then here you can see a bunch of minor league coaches are leaving, which I ended that pretty much. I went over a bunch of that off screen, as I figured offering up to a bunch of minor league personnel probably wouldn't be the most interesting. But our contract with our pitching coach Mark Pryor did actually run out, so and yeah, he doesn't want to come back. So we'll be looking for a new pitching coach this year, which I'll do on screen because he is, of course, a major league coach for us. And then so here, our owners decided on a new budget, and then here we'll just see kind of what he had as our team goals here. Of course, we can't be fired, so it doesn't really matter, but just see what he thinks of it. He wanted us to improve our pitching, which we did. Apparently not enough for him. But whatever. Attendance, I just lowered the ticket price like a little bit, and it went way up. So he likes that, and I wants his long-term goal making the playoffs, and his deadline isn't up, but he, would like to make the playoffs soon, and I would too. So I'm definitely trying to do that. And okay, so his goals for the next year are play close to 500 ball, go to top 6 minor league season, bring up more players that we've drafted, and keep building the team, which I definitely like to do. And then we got some pretty much team option decisions here. One with German Marquez, and we're going to execute that. $16 million. He'd want more in the open market, so we'll just we'll take him on the deal he wants, or the team option we got for this year. Miguel Rojas, he has executed his option, so he'll be on the team another year. Honestly, I'll probably I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with Rojas, but there's a decent chance I keep him around as a backup infielder. And Tim Anderson option, yeah, we're definitely avoiding that option. Don't want to pay him the $12 million that he's owed this season, so we're definitely not going to be doing that. So yeah. So we've done with all those guys. Now we're going to go ahead and look into the personnel here. Of course, we need that new pitching coach. And not general manager, preferred occupation pitching coach. Change the ratings here. Reputation, and there are some decent guys available here. Here's a ground ball guy here, though we don't necessarily have the most ground ball pitchers on the team. This guy Kurt Young, looks like he's the Braves pitching coach. He's an excellent reputation. Neutral kind of style. Honestly, might go with him. Mickey Callaway's here as a pitching coach, and his rating is pretty decent. Octavio Alvarez here. Let's see, we don't have any finesse pitchers. I guess that probably most of the pitchers on the team power pitchers, yeah, and they were. And I'm pretty sure Mark Pryor's style was power pitchers. Do we even have any ground ball pitchers too? So Conine and Montes. Honestly, not quite sure. Actually, I feel like I just have to go with Kurt Young. We've offered. I definitely haven't offered any guys the MLB job, so I don't know why I would say that. Yeah, that's kind of confusing. Oh well. But anyways, now we got the salary arbitration to look at here. Honestly, don't know what I'm going to do with Bryce Wilson, because looking at a rotation as it is without adding anyone, it looks pretty full, especially with the guys we added. Okay, so really we have 4 spots pretty secured up, and then 3 spots pretty secured up. Montes, who can start, Urias, who's probably not even going to be on the major league team next year. Miller, who's a guy who can go back and forth. And Bryce Wilson was like not good at all for us last year. Really regressed hard after being pretty good with Atlanta. So I think honestly might even just try to deal him here. I mean, he's gonna want $6 million, and we could definitely save that money for someone else, I feel like, and utilize that better. So I think I'm gonna probably try to trade him. Everything else here is fine. Yeah, I mean, I'm more than fine with our pretty good relievers, especially like Fernandez making less than $1 million. I mean, take that every time. I mean, no one in here really is anyone. I usually just let like the computer bring back kind of minor league free agents. And who did I see? I thought I saw Hampson down here in the minor league free agents. But no, he's not here. He's in the arbitration eligible player. So we're gonna go ahead. I'm just gonna shop Bryce Wilson and see what we can kind of get for him here. Alright, so shopping Bryce Wilson here, there's a good bit of useful pieces here. There's this reliever here from the Braves, this young reliever who looks like he's pretty solid here. He could be an interesting pickup. Of course, our bullpen is already absolutely stacked. So, you know, that could maybe be an interesting pickup. Kind of similar guy here, Noah Song. He has a lot more team control. The other guy would be ARB eligible this year, I believe, and he's been a starter. The only thing I don't know with him is like his control movement is that high, so he'd probably be better suited out of the bullpen. So, but we, you know, of course, try him as starter still. Faedo, probably not a good idea to do that because he's extreme fly ball. Pablo Lopez here. Don't necessarily like his ratings a ton. Okay. Looks like Walker Buehler's being offered up. But I think I'm just not going to do this because it's just not realistic, like, at all. I mean, it wouldn't make sense for the Dodgers, who are like one of the best teams in the league, to just give up Walker Buehler to a division rival for like a middling pitcher coming off of like a not so like good season. Like, so that doesn't make sense at all. Definitely not gonna do that. And he's even on a team friendly contract, and I'm pretty sure it's just offering that up because he has that player opt out in like 2 years. And I found that like players that have like an early opt out like that, who like are pretty, like, he's gonna opt out like for sure. Like the Dodgers obviously will most likely bring him back, but like that opt out is pretty overpowered in this game, at least that I've noticed, because guys like that will just, you know, their value will just tank because teams like know they're gonna not be like accepting, like keep going with the contract that they have after the opt out. So like those guys will go for like super cheap, and you can basically get them for anything, just for like a year or two. And I mean, as cool as that would be, it's definitely not like realistic at all. So yeah, I mean, we're gonna go with Noah Song here. I mean, you know, he's just like a middle 20s reliever here that our scout happens to like. Could be a starter, most likely a bullpen piece, and we're gonna get pretty much like a good chunk of money off of our kind of money right here, or potentially what we would be paying Wilson. So just flipping him for Noah Song here. Gonna go ahead and do that. Look back into salary arbitration here. And where's Noah Song? Oh no, see, he shouldn't even be in here because he's just an auto renew guy. At this point, he doesn't even have a year of service, so he's just on the roster now. So then I'm gonna go ahead and sim forward, and we'll go over some of the awards. All right, so salary arbitration hearings are today, but we're gonna go ahead and look at the awards here and see which players around the league took home the awards. And Corey Seager here, he won the MVP, which is not surprising. Of course, we looked kind of around the league at stats, and him and Juan Soto both had kind of crazy seasons. Of course, Seager plays shortstop, and he's a pretty decent one defensively, or about an average one right now, at least, or this season. And so he takes home the MVP here. I believe Soto led him in WAR, I think, but of course, I mean, he's a more, I guess, balanced type player, had a more balanced type season. So he ends up taking over Soto here, and then his teammate Gavin Lux, second baseman, actually finishes third. So 2 Dodgers are in the top 3. Bellinger is actually 4th, so another Dodger there in the top 4. Bobby Dalbec here, he got some love here in the for the MVP award here. Pretty cool to see there. Now we're going to go ahead and look at the AL MVP, and it looks like Shohei Ohtani took that one home. So pretty interesting right there. Takes home the MVP, of course. I mean, he was a stud pitching this season. Pretty crazy numbers there, and of course, I mean, he can do more than that. He was about worth 5 wins at the plate this year. Hit 36 homers, which is absolutely nuts because he appeared at the plate in 104 games this year and hit 36 homers in 104 games, which is real nuts there. He's been an absolute tank in this kind of league so far. Arenado getting some love there with the Red Sox, of course. And now on to pitching. Buehler, he won the Cy Young this year. I believe that's his 2nd in a row. No, he won in 21, so kind of a gap year there. Took a year off of being filthy, even though he was still good that year. But yeah, of course, we just literally could have acquired him, but chose not to because of how unrealistic that would have been. Gratterall getting some love there too. Peralta, yeah, I mean, this Dodgers team is real stacked. Some Mets pitchers up here too, which is interesting. And then AL Pitcher of the Year, AL Cy Young. Ohtani wins, so he takes home both awards here. Garrett Cole 2nd, and then Oliver Ortega, a fellow Angel, actually finished 3rd. I believe the Angels took home the World Series this year, didn't they? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they did. They beat the Padres. So yeah, lots of Angels here. And Mike Trout was 2nd in the AL MVP voting here. Of course, he had the thing where he didn't really play the outfield at all this year. So I talked about fixing that earlier, and I definitely will. At least edit his outfield ratings there and fix that later, so he's not just DHing, and give him kind of the option to play corner outfield, which will definitely happen. It was realistic. And actually, here's a storyline that I kind of thought was weird. Michael McGavin, I guess he got into an accident in the offseason because it just popped up like while I was just running through a quick sim of all the awards, so I could kind of recap them all. He got in an accident. He one day the thing popped up. He had a 2-week injury in the offseason. So I was kind of like, what the heck is going on? But I guess he got in an accident. And luckily, it wasn't, a serious injury that would alter his career. Just a 2-week injury. So good there. NL Manager of the Year, San Diego gets that, and LA Angels, Todd Black. So both the teams are in the World Series. Their managers get Manager of the Year awards. Rookie of the Year here in the National League, Tyler Callahan. It looks like he was the unanimous winner, which kind of sucks. I thought Nicholson would have a good shot at taking home this award, but apparently not. And looks like Cincinnati has a pretty good shortstop of their own. He's not nearly as good defensively, and not nearly as good at the plate. It looked like, at least how I would rate him. So that's kind of interesting. Actually, it was Hudson Potts. My bad. Who took him Rookie of the Year? He's just a tank and power hitting first baseman. Actually, maybe even not. He can play second. He would be a very usable guy at second base. He can even play some corner outfield. Actually, I wonder where he played the most this year. A lot of first base. Actually, a good amount of second base too. But yeah, he was an absolute tank. Nicholson ends up finishing 4th in Rookie of the Year voting, actually. At least by my eye, he had a way better season than Luciano. He was even playing third base, a good third base, but not as valuable as kind of a shortstop Nicholson is now. His zone rating actually wasn't as good as Callahan's, but his offensive season was much better, so kind of interesting there. AL Rookie of the Year goes to Chris Terry, 27-year-old first baseman. It looks like. Yeah, not many rookies here in the American League. Like Steele Walker was second, and he didn't even play a full season, although he was pretty good. Yeah, so not a lot of AL Rookie of the Year candidates. NL, kind of Platinum Stick Award here, or Silver Slugger. Walker Buehler hit 4 home runs. That's kind of funny. Of course, we don't have the league hasn't progressed to an all DH league at this point. Dahlback takes it home for third base. Yeah, so that's twice in a year he's taken home that award at third base, and 2 times in a row he's also been an all-star. So good looks there. And we don't have anyone else. And then here it looks like a lot of Mariners guys here. Rodriguez and Kelnick. Looks like they're progressing as a team. Wow, Ronald Guzman was just a monster. Okay, he was pretty good last year too, I guess. And then Reliever of the Year awards. Surprisingly, okay, we do have Jose Gonzalez here, but not him. He wasn't at the top of this list. Another Angels guy last. So yeah, Angels taking home a lot of awards, and I guess that'll happen when your team is as good as it is. No Gold Glove awards or anything here for us, which is most likely to be expected here. And then here's the American League Gold Gloves as well. And then I'll kind of skip forward a few days again here to free agency, and we'll look at who's going to be available here. And with that being said, ARB decision came in. Nothing really too crazy here. I mean, everyone pretty much got what we expected. Almonte, $1.6 million. He's going to be out for 8 months still. So we probably won't even have him for the next year, to be honest. And here we are. So today's the day that free agents file. We'll look here at the international guys. At least at first, not looking like there's a bunch of guys here who are too valuable, but maybe, especially this third baseman here. I have no idea how you would say his name, but he looks pretty decent here. Corner infield, corner outfield guy, it looks like. Maybe a better corner like outfielder. Yeah, I mean he's not too highly rated now, but I mean looks like he wants a minor league contract here. So we're just gonna go ahead and offer him up the minor league contract. I mean this guy definitely warrants a spot in the minor leagues at least. And then there's some other guys here. Another corner guy, Julio Paredes. Pretty much just an outfielder, although I guess he can play a little first base. Only, I mean, at 5'10", 190, probably wouldn't want him really playing first base since he's only 5'10". He can't run at all somehow. So that's kind of interesting there. And then we've got David Infante here, who isn't really I mean this guy looks like he could be pretty decent. He's got a decent bit of range, so this guy could honestly might be our center fielder for the year. It's definitely rare that this many guys are available in kind of international free agency like this that are pretty good, at least in this year's game. It used to be pretty common in the older games that good guys are available here, or at least like stud players are available. And this guy, he's pretty good. This guy's definitely a usual player. I'm gonna definitely give him a full-on major league contract. I think for about $900K, and then we'll let that kind of sort out. But he definitely looks like a pretty solid player here. Definitely would be interested in bringing him in to be the everyday center fielder. Oops, didn't mean to go with pitching staff there, because I mean, yeah, we got Josh Lowe. We got plenty of outfield like depth, like corner-ish guys, but we don't. I mean, we've had a kind of problem with center field defense for a while, and I think he could be pretty good. At least maybe platoon with Lowe. Him starting as righties, and then Infante, the guy who we're just offered a contract up to. But yeah, I mean, we've got 15 guys in the Major League roster with these guys up. Rojas, maybe he's the... I think we're definitely going to be keeping Rojas on as the backup infielder. So we'll be doing that. And yeah, I actually like that a lot. And then of course we'll still have Hampson around possibly to be another backup. We got Amaya Contreras. So yeah, I mean, he's really a center fielder is the only upgrade that we would even do. That would probably force us. I mean, it would force us to get rid of at least one of our corner outfielders, or I mean, send them down. So we definitely have to do that. But definitely interested in bringing the Infante guy in. I mean, that definitely helps our center field problem out a bunch, not having to pay a ton for a guy like that. And then here's, of course, the crown jewel that I've been looking at for, like even before when I was previewing this offseason, talking about who's going to be available. Lucas Giolito is here. And I mean, the scouting accuracy is pretty low on him right now. But I mean, he's stupid highly rated here. His injury proneness has gone down to fragile, but I mean, his contract demand is only $9 million a season. He wants a 1-year deal, it looks like. Of course, he didn't really pitch at all, which is extremely unlucky for him. Because he had a fantastic part of the 2022 season. He did pitch, was good in 2021, was good in 2020. He's been good ever since. Oh, that season actually incredible. He only got 10 decisions on the year, but he was a 6-win player. He had 2 pretty ridiculous seasons, but he didn't even get he only got 10 total decisions on the season, which is kind of nuts right there. I take it that team probably wasn't too awesome, quality wise. And yeah, Giolito, I mean, he's available here. I don't know exactly how we would what kind of contract he wants, because of course here he wants a 1-year $9 million deal, but I feel we could give him something longer. Cause that's the thing, because he is 29. This is gonna be his 29-year-old season, and the more years that he accrues here, the more he's gonna not be likely to cash in that big first contract out of arbitration where he's a stud pitcher. And he's definitely going to miss out on that, at least for now, because of his, the huge injury that he had. Of course, he can never be the same going back. So I think I kind of want to offer him maybe more of an incentive-based deal here, giving him a big player option right here where he can, decide to opt in or not. And that's the thing, because if this goes well, he definitely opts out. If it somehow doesn't go well at all, he definitely, doesn't, do this anyway. So I think what we do here is we, maybe do the $9 million, and then we just bump it up a bunch with incentives if he does well. Maybe we do $300K or something for making an all-star team, and then add I don't know, $1.2 million for a Cy Young, and we'll see what he thinks about this maybe. Yeah, it looks like he doesn't want that kind of deal. Yeah, I don't even know. Could we maybe do a 2-year deal with the player option, or a vesting option maybe, and we just make it stupid high, we put him at 200 innings, which would assume that he doesn't get hurt at all. Again, 1.4 million maybe for Cy Young win, 400,000 for an all-star appearance. Yeah, he doesn't even like that either. He just wants a 1-year deal. I think we just offer him 12 straight up, because if we bid too low immediately, we're going to get in a huge bidding war, which I don't want, because the whole thing of bringing Giolito would be that he's coming up an injury, so he's just a really cheap good starting pitcher, and that would pretty much totally defeat the purpose of that if we got in a bidding war. Now, bullpen wise, I mean, I don't really think we would want to add anybody. I mean, we got 16 guys up right now, and you take away maybe Urias, who definitely won't be on, Mueller, and now it's 27. So technically it would be 14 pitchers. So I think honestly we could add another bullpen arm, and we have 3 lefties that are pretty much all locked into spots. Yeah, Chapman, who's 35. This is his last guaranteed year, although I doubt that he would decline this option. His ratings are going down. We got Gonzalez, who's a stud. Fernandez, who's a stud as well. And then Almonte, who's very good, but he will miss most of the season. So I think here we go with a power righty to combine with the 2 stud lefties that we have out of the bullpen. And Corey Knebel, whatever. Right here, he's available, coming off a pretty poor season. Of course, still very highly rated. I'd probably go ahead and say that we do him probably over Maranta. He doesn't want very much, so I'd definitely be comfortable doing something like this. Maybe we bump this first year up to $4 million, because we got plenty of money. I mean, after offering up Giolito and Knebel, we're gonna have about $50 million to play with still. And yeah, like I said, we were gonna go after a center fielder, but yeah, there's not really anyone who's too interesting. Like, there's this guy who's still just basically a minor league free agent, who's done pretty good and just hasn't got a chance. Like Ian Happ, he's not a center fielder. Here's Infante himself right here. Michael Lorenzen. He can't even really play center field. So the center field options just aren't even there. Even if we really wanted to go after a really good infielder here, Max Muncy's the best one available, and I don't want to play him at second base every day. So, and we have Soto anyway, so I wouldn't want to bring him in. It just doesn't make sense for us to make a big splash that's not Giolito. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna stand pat here with the offers that we do have, and then I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of make sure we secure these guys, and we'll move on kind of from there. Alright, so after simming a bunch here, we got the first dominoes of the ones that we offered up to kind of fall here. So we got Knebel, and after kind of looking quick here, we also got Paredes. He signed on to the minor league deal that we offered him. So that's one of the 2 minor league guys that we offered up signing on here. Of course, he was the corner guy that we offered up to, that can't really run. So he's kind of interesting here. He's a 30 overall player. He I don't know if he'll start in AA. How old is he? He's 22 already. So I actually probably will start him off in AA. Looks like I've yet to kind of every year kind of go through the minor leagues off screen to look at kind of how everyone's kind of situated out for the year. And I go ahead and move them up and down. At least a lot of the guys top prospects who I care about. I do that mostly off screen because I think it'd be kind of tedious to show on camera. Here's just 2 updates. Bahi basically wanted more money. So basically a signing bonus. And Giolito, he's looks like he's favoring our deal. So I'll check back in, and hopefully we'll have some more signees to announce. So before those guys end up signing, we have the Rule 5 draft to look forward here right now. And I'm not quite sure what's available here, but we're going to go ahead and take a look. Looks like there may be some decent guys here. Duran, decent ratings. The only problem is he's basically a second baseman, an okay defensive second baseman / third baseman, but he doesn't really have the offensive profile to be really worthwhile at third base. And then looking at us here, Roberto Ramos is here, and he had an awful. He had a Chris Davis type season this past year. -2.5 wins. And he was pretty serviceable that first year. He's always kind of the main minor league free agent signing the first year of this game. Kind of as a glitch, because he usually wants like a major league contract, even though he hasn't really had like any service time. Yeah, I mean, we're not even gonna take anybody here, so you can skip over that, which is surprising because I usually take at least one guy. I mean, my Tigers series we took a bunch, but just no one's available here, and the only guy who went was this kind of fringe starter guy who's most likely a reliever, but like we already have way too many guys, I feel like, and we wouldn't be able to send that guy down, so it probably wouldn't be worth it. Alright, now on December 26th, the day after Christmas, Colorado Rockies fans definitely get a Christmas present here as Lucas Giolito signs on. So we're going to have him for 1 year, $12 million, and he's going to get a bunch of incentives here. I mean, he could earn almost up to $2 million in incentives here if he stays healthy and just as fantastic and wins the Cy Young Award. We don't have a spot in the 40-man for him, so we'll have to add him. And we also will have to add Infante, who I don't know what we'll do with him immediately, but we'll throw a scouting report on him, and we'll just throw him on the 40-man anyway, because we have to, because he's a major league contract. I mean, here I'm pretty sure the obvious answer to this is we definitely just get rid of Arias. DFA him now, but it'll definitely turn to a release. And then we got Austin Bernard here, who I ended up calling him up for like a very brief period when Amaya got hurt last year, just because we need another catcher. We don't really have any like third catcher option in the organization, so he just was a guy in AAA who I just called up because he was there. He actually raked when I called him up. Hit 2 homers. When you see the offensive slash line, he was pretty ridiculous in the very limited time he got. But I mean, I don't need him on the 40-man, especially when who did I just? Okay, I was about to say I thought I just messed up and put someone back on the 40-man that I just DFA'd. So we put him on, and then we put Infante on. I'm sure he'll. I mean, we should just put him on the active roster because I mean he has 3 options left anyway. And yeah, I don't think we're waiting on anyone else. We're still waiting on the minor league free agent. I'll kind of look here, see anybody else. Oops. If there are any posted players here that would be interesting. Nope. We're on all players here, looking at pretty much everyone who's left. And I just don't think there's really anybody else worth offering up to. Maeda, I mean, he's a fly ball pitcher. Not guaranteed. We'll see how this rotation shakes out. Yeah, I mean, Giolito at the top, Rolison, Mueller. We again have Montes, who would probably be starting. So I honestly don't know if there's going to be anyone else we want to really bring in. We might just be out of spots, I think. And I know a lot of the guys at the back end already have a bunch of their options used, so we're kind of tied with that. We do have a decent amount of depth. I mean, we got Ashby, Goudreau, Paredes, guys who've all come up and been pretty decent for us. So I think we should be fine kind of in that aspect. Like, we definitely should be deep enough. And with kind of the guys who are available on, the relievers who are available on waivers, we should be fine. So unless I can really get a bargain here, some of these guys in free agency towards the end, we should be pretty much done for the year, I think. So one of the kind of final things we have to go over here in the offseason is the Hall of Fame voting results, and only one player made it in, and that was Adrian Beltre, and he made it in on his first year of eligibility. Actually, here he got about 82% pretty deserving of the Hall of Fame, at least in my opinion. Had a very good career as both an offensive and defensive third baseman here. And I mean, he was a pretty popular player over the course of his career. But yeah, he gets in. Actually was extremely surprised that Beltran didn't get in. He was at 68% last year, as you can see, and his voting history didn't really change at all. Like, he was pretty much the same, like, literally the entire time. So I'm not quite sure why he didn't go up at all in his second year. I thought for sure he'd make it in, and I'm sure he will at some point make it in this. But I mean, it's just weird that didn't go up at all. Sheffield, he barely falls off here. He got 64%. He actually jumped all the way up from 35% to 65% pretty much in his last year. And I mean, it's pretty crazy. That's a pretty insane jump. He basically more than doubled, almost more than doubled his kind of vote from the last year. Definitely a huge push for him in the last year. Then a couple of new guys in the ballot here that possibly could get in. Joe Mauer got about 57%, so you'd think that he'd get in by the course of his 10 years. Manny maybe possibly get in. He's about 50%. If he has the same jump as Sheffield here, there's a good chance he could get in. Helton is here. Hudson. Efron here actually is about 25%. Bartolo, Utley. Matt Holliday is a new guy this year. Victor Martinez. So lots of new guys here, kind of at the bottom of the list. And here are the guys who dropped off. Pretty unsurprising. Actually, kind of even a little surprising that Fielder, Howard, James Shields, or actually, Jake Peavy. Those guys were able to hang on for multiple years without getting dropped. So yeah. And also just the kind of little update, there are pretty much no just buy low guys we could get, or at least that I've seen in free agency that are interesting. So we're pretty much done for the offseason. So I'll go ahead and go forward, and we'll jump to kind of the final decisions that we need to make before the regular season starts. So here, right before spring training, like a few days, we have quite the interesting storyline here. So I got a notification that we had a Rockies player retire, and of course, you get that first before you can look at the regular news stories. And it said that Miguel Rojas decided to retire. So, he is 35, which is pretty, advanced in age for a career. But I guess he wants to fulfill his lifelong dream of being a missionary or something. So he's going to walk away from the second year of his player option, which, doesn't even really make a big deal for us because, we have plenty of money. And, even though he's going to make $6-7 million for a backup veteran infielder, it's fine because we have so much money to play with. And, he's just an insurance, basically, if, we didn't call up Nicholson as soon as he did because of all the injuries. But he decides to call it a career, which kind of affects us a bit because I was banking on him being somewhat of a, he's going to be our backup infielder this year. Now it's going to be Hampson, who, don't feel the most comfortable with just being the backup infielder. So, literally if Soto gets hurt like he did last year, just doesn't perform as well. Hampson would immediately jump in and start. And he did the same thing last year because we had so many injuries. But, that's kind of crazy. So, we're actually going to go shopping here for some veteran infield help. Wow, Buster Posey's still here, and he wants, $2 million. We got some money. And, Contreras is a good backup catcher. Oh, wow, his ratings actually declined a bunch. We'll take a look here and see what we're gonna do. We got $63 million available now that Posey's. Now that Rojas is out, and Posey, could get him as a backup catcher here, which would be totally fine with me. Contreras' ratings are gone down somehow. We'll look and make sure that wasn't OSA. And it wasn't. I mean, I would be fine with bringing in. I mean, he's been below average ever since after that first year. I mean, we could bring in Posey here and solidify our catching tandem here. I would not be opposed to that at all. And then we'll look for a backup infielder here. Yes, I mean, well, we'll go all batters here because we're not looking for any arms right now. But Posey, we'll go ahead and look at him. I mean, what if we offered him just straight up $2 million? Be the backup catcher? No. Like, if he's on the roster within 30 days of the season starting. And then we need a backup infielder here. Preferably a guy who could play shortstop, of course. Not really too many options here. VR. Don't want to bring a bad locker room guy in as just a backup infielder. Same with Hechavarria. Ahmed could be the option. He's a extremely good defensive player. Wow, really had a bad season last year though. So probably want to stay away from Crawford. I mean, isn't a fantastic defender anymore, although we wouldn't really need him to be. I mean, he was with Texas last year. Not fantastic. Escobar probably can't even play short. Yeah, I wouldn't want him playing short at all. Kim here, who definitely can play shortstop. Actually, maybe not. I'm not sure if this is the shortstop who's like available in real life right now. But I don't think I'd want to bring this guy in. I mean, he only wants a 1-year deal, but yeah, I'm not sure about that. Gurriel Jr. can play short. I mean, barely. Gio Estrella. Yeah, I wouldn't want to put him at short. I mean, it looks like our option is pretty much Brandon Crawford here, who's a lefty. I mean, Nicholson's also a lefty. I mean, I think we'll honestly just do it for now. And we'll see kind of what happens if we need him. We'll take it down a bunch. Maybe to like 1-2. I mean, I'm sure he'll take it because he hasn't gotten any offers. Why, he's 37 at this point. I believe he was with Washington before. Yeah, for a year, yeah. And then he was with Texas last year. I mean, not the worst. And Posey, has he been with Giants the whole time? I actually know. Been with Miami and Chicago, actually, last year. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with those guys as we head into spring training here. And bang, we bring in both guys. Posey really helps the team leadership thing. And Crawford also isn't too bad for the clubhouse here. We only have room on the 40-man for one of them, which we'll do Posey first year. And then Ona. I mean, we don't need this dude anymore, so we'll go ahead. Put Crawford on. Oh, yeah, we need to get Posey on the active roster. And bang, we'll do that. Keep moving forward.